Netflix is censoring more and more TV shows and movies, while the Cuties show is on their network, uncensored, available for anyone to click and watch. I'll explain the issue after you see what they took out of Final Destination.
Sit together. She asked Todd, but he said he had some sort of medical thing.
That right there was cut out. It is an integral part of the story. If you haven't seen this show, if you haven't seen this movie, these guys get on a plane, and this kid has a premonition, and he leaves the plane. The kids who follow him off the plane all have a thing happen that predicts the way that they're going to pass away, so that I don't get demonetized. Pass away. The example in this situation is this kid mimics, don't ruin our plan by talking to these girls, and then he does the cutthroat and the hanging thing. You know, he mimics it, saying, don't ruin our plan or I'm gonna off ya. You know, he's just mimicking this to threaten the kid like most people do to when they're doing sign language, like, I'm gonna kill you if you do that. Not really saying he's gonna kill him. You get me. This is him predicting his death. This is an integral part of the story taken out. A lot of people are asking why Netflix is okay to allow cuties on their network. One of my viewers has a young child watching cartoons on Netflix. And 1 second, Rachel, what was the name of that show you said? Big Mouth? So one of my viewers' kids was watching Netflix, and all of a sudden it recommended a cartoon called Big Mouth and auto-played it. My viewer had to run in, turn the show off because it discusses, and I won't name any of it so that I don't get demonetized, really discussing sexual acts and just really weird stuff. I mean, which is fine. If it's going to be on your platform, let it be on your platform, fine. The issue, though, is that Cuties is there, and it's not being censored with these little girls mimicking literal sex. Now, look at what they took out of Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2 was edited by Netflix. Compare Cuties and what they won't censor there to what they censor right here.
No! Ooh la la! Ooh la la! Ooh la la!
Ooh la la. The red box is where Netflix censored Back to the Future 2 because of ooh la la. There's a scene where Marty finds the book. If you know anything about Back to the Future, I'm not going to go deep in it. This woman has more clothes than most people do wearing a bathing suit. She's completely covered. There's nothing here that needs censored. So why did Netflix censor it? A lot of people will look to the mainstream media or to alternative media to get an explanation. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bounding Into Comics, because they're typically on point when it comes to this stuff. And then we'll get out of here after I show you some other Netflix censorship, though. Fans discovered that a pivotal scene foreshadowing a passing from the version of Final Destination available on Netflix is censored. Released in 2000, it's widely considered one of the most iconic horror films of the era. Modern spin on the teenage slasher genre. The events of the film are set in motion as Alex and his classmates depart their senior trip and board a flight for Paris. And soon, he and the other survivors find themselves being pursued by death as a metaphysical force to reap their lives by orchestrating a scene of elaborate accidents. And here's Todd actually passing, all the while Cuties is allowed on the network. Other things Netflix has censored has to do with 13's reason why they had to remove person offing themselves scene. Let's skip past that, but Stranger Things ignited policies on Netflix's platform over the adult smoking, just like Cowboy Bebop. If you don't know Cowboy Bebop, it is an anime set in the future while there are bounty hunters, corpos, and all these different kind of people trying to survive in a space cowboy frontier wasteland, right? There's a member of Cowboy Bebop named Faye Valentine. She's got a really short top that has some cleavage showing. Got me like right here. They don't want her to be wearing this short top when they do the live action remake, but the problem is they're going to censor more than that, and it has a lot of people talking. I guess the point is, why can't she wear a short top while you have things like Cuties, these other shows? You have violent shows. Nobody wants all the violence and all that to go away. We want, if you're going to censor something, we want it to make sense. We want there to be a reason. If you're going to say that children shouldn't see something, it probably shouldn't be kids being sexualized. Smoking is less of a problem than that. And before I show you how Bill Nye the Science Guy was censored on Netflix, before I show you that, just so that you're caught up, there are so many things that Netflix has censored. People keep paying money to this service while they're treated like garbage. They don't even let you autoplay. Did you know that? When you autoplay on Netflix, it'll time out after an episode or two and ask you to click the button because they don't want you just letting things play on your television on their network. This is why I don't watch Netflix. Though, let's just jump back to to this example of censorship with Bill Nye the Science Guy. This is Birdman. Netflix censors Bill Nye to remove a segment about only 2 genders. Let's see these segment, and then we'll talk about it. Now take note that it started right there.
I'm a girl. Could have just as easily been a boy though, because the probability of becoming a girl is always 1 in 2. See, inside each of our cells are these things called chromosomes, and they control whether we become a boy or a girl. Your mom has 2 X chromosomes in all of her cells, and your dad has 1 X and 1 Y chromosome in each of his cells. Before you're born, your mom gives you 1 of her chromosomes and your dad gives you 1 of his. Mom always gives you an X. And if dad gives you an X too, then you become a girl. But if he gives you his Y, then you become a boy. See, there are only 2 possibilities. XX, a girl.
You can probably understand why this got censored, you know? You get me? Let's go ahead and skip ahead so that you can see what it looks like after the censorship. Remember, we started here. Cut completely out. Some of the mainstream media, some of the other sites out there will tell you that Bill Nye was not censored by Netflix, that it was done by someone else in 2007. Well, I might have closed it, maybe. Oh no, it's here. So, I like this. 9 hours ago, Saber Dino says, I've noticed that whenever Netflix get caught editing movies, it's always someone else's fault. The studio must have tricked me into editing their movie. Yeah, that's it. I like that. And their reasoning for censoring doesn't even make sense. Regardless, it's abhorrent to retroactively censor films to suit modern day sensibilities. Completely agree. Even being hard on smoking and other things by adults inside of its popular films and TV shows. And what do you think about Cuties still being on the network after all of this? When Back to the Future can't have Marty say ooh la la while looking at a woman fully covered by clothing. Let me know in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.